What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good day. Here's a little preview of what's gonna be the result of this episode, so the end of this episode, in case you want to stick around, and this is where it starts to tread into more advanced territory, so you know.
Let's go.
So if you're interested in seeing the steps that it took to get to this state of the track, all the changes that I made, then stick around because it's going to be a lot of experimentation and editing and revising. So let's go! So of course I'm gonna go ahead and play the track again from beginning to the end to see what we got in the last episode. Alright, cool. So first of all, I am gonna go ahead and copy these drums over here. So we have some drums for the next part. Probably gonna work on those. I'm gonna probably keep this drum groove for the next part. And then I'll have the first part or two probably be a simpler drum groove because I wanna save this crazy mix-up for a latter part, perhaps. And I'm also gonna take these reverse kicks over here and probably turn them up a little bit to, well, they create kind of the sucking effect into the next kick, and it, in my opinion, helps with transitioning. So it definitely isn't very audible, so I'll turn it up a bit. And there you have it, nice sucking effect. Might hear my subwoofer echo a little bit, but I'm gonna try and fix that in post.
Let's go.
So again, I'm gonna try and copy over some elements. I'm probably not gonna keep all of them, but I want to have something to go off of when I'm building the second groove here. And now I'm just doing a little bit of EQing and boosting and volumes. Just little finicky stuff that's not really gonna matter because at the end of this track I'm gonna redo all the EQing and everything. I can't talk and everything. Alright, so I've copied over the bass line as well, and I'm gonna make all this stuff unique and try and come up with something a little bit more interesting and a little bit cleaner. As a matter of fact, I'll probably start this from scratch. And just a little editing note here in the post process. Just want to let you know that I'm cutting out all the stuff that's not important. That's just me looking for the sounds and checking them out and checking out their applications and stuff, and just going through the different elements. So I'm not cutting anything important, and just wanted to let you guys know. So I've simplified the drum groove to just kick, snare, so hopefully that'll make things a little bit cleaner and easier for now. So my goal with this right now is to mess around and come up with some different ideas for a bass line something that still sounds like the original, just a little bit more something that I guess you can attach yourself to, not something that sounds so random, which is the biggest problem I think with the track right now. So this is gonna take a lot of messing around and editing, and messing around, and more messing around. So you can see how insane this high pass filter is and how like washy it makes it sound. See, this is simple, better, but still too simple. But it's a start. I think this is something I'll branch off of. So here I'm just putting in the sub, all the copies to the mid-range sounds, so it sounds nice and full. And now I'm just making this for sound monophonic, because I forgot to do that in the first place. And of course I did that so we can do these neat little pitch bends by overlapping notes. Okay, so now it's going to be a lot of cutting stuff up and moving it around, so I can have the saw chords at the beginning, and I'm going to copy and paste this bass line over so I can edit. So it all still sounds a little bit sloppy and messy, but I actually know how I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to do that towards the end, I think. Now I'm going to mess around with the automation of the high pass filter a bit. Make it sound a little bit grittier, nastier, and make it go with the actual bass line. And just to let you guys know, I'm getting really sick of this pluck. So again, moving around elements of the track, trying to fill out the second part here, and copying pasting. So in my opinion, it's getting better. Of course, there's always things that can be fixed and cleaned up, but it's definitely getting there. It has a cool wow sound, which I'm definitely a fan of. And in my opinion, it looks really cool in the EQ too, because you can actually see the modulation happening. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert the OTT over the top compressor, which is an Ableton emulator kind of thing by Steve Duda from X4 Records, and it's a multi-band compressor, up-down compression, just like over-the-top compression, OTT plugin from Ableton, and it's going to keep things a bit more balanced. Alright, so of course I'm going to EQ it a little bit again because it still doesn't quite sound right to me. I want to even it out a little bit and make it sound a little bit better in the mix. Now I'm going to mess around with the dip and the high pass filter a little bit, because that can drastically affect the sound too. What I'm going to try and do now is take some of those plucks from the intro and try and incorporate them into the drop. If not, then at least incorporate the MIDI. Maybe use that for a bass or something. I don't know, I want to kind of try to just incorporate the main feeling of the rest of the track into this drop, so I can tie those elements and sections of the drop, of the track together a little bit. And it's going to take some experimentation on how I'm going to do it, so I'm probably just going to speed through this in the editing, because it's going to take a bit of messing around, but I'll explain what the hell I'm doing. Doesn't sound quite right to me when there's the bass and that's playing together. So now I'm gonna mess around with some ideas that are probably gonna fail, but I'll figure out something. This might actually sound cool with a new bass. I might do that. So I'm gonna make a new bass, probably just a saw or a square with a little filter. It's gonna be a little simple, but it's just gonna support that main pluck. So I'm gonna bring it down 2 octaves and just choose one of these wavetables. I guess any will do. Make it a square for now, saw. Add some noise, some sizzle, because that's gonna sound cool with distortion. Some kind of filter. Maybe this scream filter might do. I want it to sound a little squishy with the filter, but I might change that later on. That sounds obnoxious, but I'll give it a try. So I'll try modulating the filter with an envelope. That obviously sounds very terrible because it's just one note and it's not even sidechained, which that I'll probably change too, the whole sidechaining. I'll probably choose a more aggressive style of sidechaining afterwards. Now I'll use this bass to support that beginning pluck. I'm just gonna copy those first 3 notes or so and paste it right in here. Okay, now it sounds alright, but I want to try out a different filter. Low pass, maybe? Something nice and squishy. Nah, I'll double notch it up. Give it a little bit of a vowel effect, that might sound cool. I'll probably have to mess around with the amount of it. Yeah, why not? Let's beef it up a bit. So at the bottom, this bandwidth band gain multiplier will actually change the way vocodec's response to your sound by widening or narrowing the bands that you choose, and will drastically affect your sound. Okay, so next up I want to change these chords a little bit. I may need to change either the MIDI or the chords themselves, because it just doesn't sound right to me. It may be the wavetable that I selected, because I tried to go for like an organ feel. But now I'm feeling more of a detuned saw kind of thing, so let's see. I'm just going to paste these around, transpose them around a bit. But I'm probably just going to mess around with the sound itself. Just making a tiny quick edit to these drums here. That's it. Just wanted to show that, I guess, just so nobody's out of the loop. Alright, we're getting there. I'm gonna make another quick edit to this intro drum fill here, and make it a little bit more interesting and unique to the intro, and add a little bit of a variation to it too, to keep it interesting. I think that little change already makes it sound a lot cooler, in my opinion. So I hate to say it, but I hope that I can find a way to replace this first part of the drop, because I'm really starting to dislike it. But I have some ideas, and this second part of the drop might actually replace the first part, which is what I've wanted, something with a little bit more groove, but it can also still use some work. I'm gonna try and extend this a little bit, perhaps. And I think that pitch bend wobble thing should go towards the end here, and serve as sort of a first filler. Now I'm really starting to hear some frequencies that are starting to bother me, particularly up here in this 3 to 5K range, so I'm going to duck that down a little bit because I think it sounds a lot smoother without it. Now, really quick, I'm gonna change the sidechaining. I've already muted the balances, which is the previous form of sidechaining, and I'm gonna clone a kick here and name this whole thing SCT, standing for side chain trigger. I'm gonna make it yellow, and yellow is gonna be my sidechain now. So I'm gonna make that hit on every kick and snare, and hopefully. Well, I'm also going to link it to a limiter, by the way. So this SCT will not be making any sound. It's just going to be sending a signal to this limiter over here, which is on the master bus of all. Well, not the master, but the sidechain bus. Here's another editing note. I didn't realize till a few minutes from here that I totally forgot to put the sidechain trigger on top of the snare, which actually makes a big difference, but I'll get to that in a few minutes apparently, because then I notice. So what I have going on here is very redundant, but I guess it just makes me feel safe because I'm going to put this parametric EQ before the sidechaining, so it's going to take out the bottom and the snare frequencies before it sidechains. Then I'll unmute the bottom one, which does the same thing after the sidechain. It's very redundant, but I guess I just want the drums to punch as clearly as I can, so redundant. Alright, back to the drop. Alright, just to let you guys know what I'm doing here totally does not matter, because I end up getting rid of all of it, so skip! So I've inserted the first hits from the first part of the drop. Alright, so as you can probably tell, a lot of this is just going to be taking the phrases I've already made and trying to fit them somewhere and edit them if need be. So obviously this automation here is not matching up, so I've made it unique so I can make it match up to these MIDI notes a little bit better. I'm not really liking how this sounds here. It's too quick and kind of messy, takes away from the groove, so I'm just gonna change that. I think that's an improvement, right? I think so. I hope you think so too. I think so. Alright, cool beans. So I'm just gonna copy and paste the stuff over here for reasons that I don't quite know yet. Maybe to keep it going. I don't know if I want to edit. I'll probably keep editing for now.
Let's go.
So I think that first part sounds cool, but it starts to get really messy, so I'm glad that I started working on a new variation. By the way, I'm just fixing something that I messed up, because I didn't make something unique, so I'm gonna skip it. So as I've said previously, I really dislike this first part. It could just be me, but I think it could be a lot better, so if it has more potential, then I honestly think that I'm gonna have to go with my gut on that. So for now, I'm just gonna move it over. I might completely delete it later. Who the hell knows? For now, I'm just gonna move it out the way and make this second part of the drop the first one. Like I said, personally, I prefer it that way. So let me know what you think.
Let's go.
Okay, and this is where I noticed that I'm missing a bunch of sidechaining. I'm missing it in the second part of the drop here, well, B part, and I am missing it on every single snare, which I'm gonna go ahead and fix. So let's move it along. So here's a perfect before and after example. I think it sounds a lot better with sidechaining on the snare. And I had an idea, so what I'm gonna do is put some reverb on it and automate it. Make it sound spacious at that little transition there as it goes. Wow. Just, I think it sounds cool. Little idea. We'll see if it works. And of course, I'm gonna copy it and paste it to the second part of the loop here, just so it can repeat it at the same fill.
Let's go.
So I like that a lot more than what I had before. I think it sounds cleaner, groovier, even more professional if I dare say that. So I like it. Okay, so now I think these shouts were a good idea. I think it adds to the glitch hoppiness, so I'm gonna put them over here. So I'm gonna cut something out here, because I'm gonna end up not using it, but I'm gonna at least show you what I did, even though I'm gonna totally delete it out of the track afterwards. It might serve a purpose afterwards, so I'll show you some bits and pieces of what I did. So I pretty much made a whoop sound, and I didn't like it because it sounded too cluttered in the drop. I think it should be more minimalistic with just a bass and maybe some saws. So here's what it sounds like, but I ended up getting rid of it. It's still in the track, it's just not playing in the track. Might be able to use it later, so I'm gonna save it. Alright, so my next step here is to take some of these plucks and the super saw and use the very end of it to remind you what track it is and lead into the next drop, the B part of the drop. I could make new sounds, but I'm just gonna do this for now. I'll find a way to make that work better. Now I want to make the bass line sound tighter, neater, and not so messy, so that's what I was talking about earlier. I'm just going to merge them all together into one bass line and shorten some of the lengthier notes. So as you can see, I'm just shortening them by a little bit, and I'm doing this to almost every single MIDI note. Not all of them, but all the long ones, and you'll hear the difference in just a second when I play it. It's going to sound a lot groovier, a lot more glitch hoppy, all these freaking adjectives, and just a lot cooler and a lot tighter in my personal opinion. So I think it sounds a lot jumpier, which is kind of cool. I like jumpy, and it's glitch hop, so it's gotta have some kind of bounce to it, right? I mean, when I listen to glitch hop and I go for walks in the woods or whatever, like, I got a little bit of skip in my step because that tempo, that 110 is like walking tempo, and then the little glitch hop feel puts a little jump in your step, so. So personally, I prefer that way more than what we had before. By the way, I'm doing some vocal chopping stuff here, which is probably not going to work out. I'm probably just going to get rid of all this crap. It's not going to sound well together. Yeah, no. By the way, there's no crash cymbals yet. I totally forgot about those. Anyway, this little slide note here, I'm gonna take this supersaw chord and make a chord that's gonna match up with the pitch bend. Ta-da! Alright, I think we're starting to get towards the end of this episode. So before I end this episode, that pluck and the supersaw, since they're all going to one bus, I'm going to put a high filter on it and filter it in while it goes into the next part. Alright, so I've automated that. Now I'm going to automate the mix of the parametric EQ so it's not active the whole time. So I think that's good for today. Let's listen to the whole thing, and I'll talk about the next episode. Okay, thank you for watching, everybody. In the next episode, I think I'm gonna focus on some more sound design, some of the exotic sound design, like respaces, growls, and all that stuff, to have some more sounds to throw in there, make it sound a little bit more interesting, more unique, and add that level of badassery or epicness to it. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna focus. I'm gonna focus the entire episode on making those sounds, processing, and then fitting them into the track, and how you would approach that. So, hope you enjoyed the episode. You guys have a good one.